For the next...
Welcome back to another video. Today I'll be reacting to I survived the whole world's heaviest people's diet for 7 days. From Eric the Electric. Alright, let's get into it.
7 days, I'm attempting to finish the diets of the world's
Damn, those are some fat people. No offense to fat people, but goddamn.
heaviest people. Starting with Barry Austin, who ate a staggering 26,000 calories
Oh my god, so many calories. Is that a bacon cheeseburger?
per day. I'm hungry now, but by the end of this week, I have a feeling I won't be.
Oh. Damn. Is that ham? So many chicken. Is that a turkey? Salad. At least there's some healthier options.
Rule number 1, I have to finish each person's diet before I can move on to the next one. Rule number 2, I can't control whose diet I'm eating next. If you're wondering who is controlling it, you'll find out shortly. Rule number 3, I have to gain a minimum of 33 pounds this week. Yep, I'm going all.
My weight is fuck white. I weigh over 80. I am 82 kilograms. I don't know how many pounds that is, but I'm 82 kilograms. That motherfucker will reach over 1 kilogram higher than me.
And my stomach is about to hate me.
God damn, he's about to explode animated now.
Kicking off with the first part of Barry's breakfast, I'm eating 10 eggs and a full loaf of toast. Obviously, it was tasting great, but what I didn't know was that this delicious carbonated drink was going to be the bane of my existence. Because Barry drank 12 liters of Coke per day. If the food itself wasn't a tough enough challenge already, this was going to be the
hash browns, 1 pound sausage, 1 pound. Oh my god, so many.
icing on the cake. Or should I say, the syrup on the hash brown.
Damn, that must have been a sugar relief.
After finishing off half the platter, I'd already made it to my second 2-liter. But this was only the beginning.
It's like I'm painting a picture of sugary, mapley deliciousness. Call me Pablo Picasso, baby.
After finishing off the last of the bacon and the sausage, I took down the rest of the hash browns and the bread. Oh, and the last of the Coke. Well, for this meal at least.
That was Barry Austin's breakfast, and it's only gonna get crazier.
Since Barry was Britain's heaviest man, I had to run over to the local pub to get the next meal for the challenge.
What the fuck is that?
Love fish and chips.
I started off with the fries, or chips as they're called in the UK, along with my next 2-liter of Coke. So far, the meal was off to a pretty good start. But I decided it was time to bring a little bit more flavor to the party.
I don't know what kind of sauce this is, but I'm gonna find out. It's ranch! It's good ranch!
So far, things were going great. Well, for now at least.
Alright, fish and chips number 1 is down. I'll pick that up later.
I got back to work and started on the next order of fish and chips.
I dedicate this meal to all my British subscribers.
And only a few minutes later, meal 2 was complete.
Fish and chips number
Oh my god, so many liters of Coke.
2 is complete. I am kind of coked out right now. I feel like that's probably not the most family-friendly thing to say on this channel.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. I have a second 2-liter in here that I was supposed to finish, so I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with that.
Yeah, you bet. Oh my god, Jesus.
For the next few minutes, I chugged this Coke like I was trying to set a record for fastest time to destroy a pancreas.
Yep.
Number 4.
And that's when things turned in a different direction.
Oh man.
Sugar crash. Sugar crash.
I've had way too much caffeine and sugar today.
After recovering from my sugar crash, it was time for the final part of Barry's diet. For this, I headed over to this fire Indian spot for the next meal.
Well everyone, it's almost 7 o'clock, so you know what that means. Dinner time.
As I got to 2-liter number 5 for the day, there was only one thought on my mind.
I hate you so much right now. Ooh, can we do a little ASMR action?
Even though I was ridiculously full at this point, this curry was so delicious that my fullness almost didn't even matter.
Yeah, I gotta say, this is some tasty curry.
But regardless of how good the food is, flavor fatigue is always bound to set in eventually. Which I was reminded of only a few bites later. With only 4 plates left, I decided it was time to strategize. So I started making myself a little curry burrito. There's probably a formal name for this, but all I knew was that this tasted delicious.
For those naan bread, okay.
As I finished this plate, I felt like I was more curry than human. But with the finish line in sight, the last thing I could do was stop now.
I'm so over curry right now. I gotta say, this is some
I
tasty
will
curry.
be over too.
As I stuffed the last curry burrito in my mouth, I'd finally made it to the end. Well, almost.
The worst part about today was definitely the Coke.
Little did I know the Coke was going to be nothing compared to what I was going to face this week.
Okay. Oh, so
I
many
have
Burger Kings.
half of one left still. But right now, the last thing I want to do is even think about it.
Drink it, drink it. Yeah! Nice.
Why couldn't this have been Diet Coke?
After finishing diet number 1, it was time for my first weigh-in.
Oh my god, he's fucking heavier than me now.
Jeez, that was a lot of calories today. Hopefully whatever's up next won't be anything too crazy.
Obviously, Barry's diet left me feeling pretty full, but the next one on the list was
Oh my god, is he fucking naked?
gonna wound me. Literally.
This is gonna be impossible.
And it all started with this binder. Let me explain. A few weeks ago, I got this text from my old friend Ricky. Ricky and I were best
Ah!
Ricky ended up coming over a few days later and things seemed pretty normal until he hit me with this.
Eric, you know you didn't actually eat the world's heaviest man's diet, right?
A few years ago, I ate what I thought was the world's heaviest man's daily diet. But what Ricky was about to put in front of me
Well, Eric, I got a real challenge for you then, and it's all in here.
was gonna prove that he was right. Ricky's always been the kind of friend that's kept me on my toes with everything I do. Like, if I said I climbed Mount Everest, he'd tell me I missed a step. So of course, he tells me he found 5 more people with even crazier diets than the world's heaviest man.
You gotta finish all of these in a week, and that's the real challenge.
Dude, come on, man. Are you for real right now?
Come on, bro. I thought you were the world's hungriest man.
As soon as he said that, I instantly realized he was right.
Fine, I will do it. And I know I'm gonna do it too, because if I can't, I'll take World's Hungriest Man out of my IG bio.
But I was about to find out that finishing Ricky's challenge was gonna be far from easy.
Bro, hold up.
Mainly because he told me I couldn't look at the rest of the binder until I started the challenge, and that I had to finish each diet in the exact order that he'd put them in. Which was probably because he sprinkled in a few surprises that I didn't know about.
I hate you, Ricky.
But Ricky wasn't quite done yet.
I want to see you as thick and bloated as you were when you were a kid.
Yeah, that's when Ricky decided to throw in a little side mission for me on this crazy challenge. I was gonna try and gain the most weight I've ever gained in a food challenge before. Ricky then told me that he had gotten a job in Central America, and he wanted to see me do this before he leaves. So right then and there, I knew what needed to be done.
This sounds pretty ridiculous, dude. But hey, what's the worst that can happen?
So many words.
Next up on the list was the diet of Paul
Oh my god, he's so. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god.
Mason. At his peak weight, Paul weighed in at 980 pounds and had one of the most absurd diets ever recorded, which, judging by the first meal,
How is that meal 100 bags of chips?
There's no way I'm gonna be able to do this.
was going to
For
test
real.
me unlike any challenge I'd ever done before.
Safe to say after this, gotta say everyone, after this, I might have a serious chip on my shoulder. After today, I think I might have a serious chip on my shoulder.
Nice.
Where are my salt and vinegar people at? Comment down below.
I had no idea how I was going to be able to survive 100 bags of chips. But what I did know was that the day was off to a pretty bad start already.
Yeah, my lips are already numb.
And some trash spilling on the floor
Shit. Oh.
was about to be the least of my problems.
The outside of my mouth is completely numb right now.
As you can probably tell by now,
The better. That might be for the best for the rest of the chips.
I was clearly in a state of pure potato chip bliss. There was 4 different flavors spread across the 100 bags of chips. My strategy was to conquer 25 at a time.
Barbecue.
Never
I love barbecue chips.
eating another salt and vinegar chip ever again.
But I was starting to realize that this plan wasn't working out very well.
All right, let me get a bag count here because I've lost count like 300 bags ago. 24, 25.
With the salt and vinegar flavor down, it was time to move on to the next one.
Choices, choices, choices.
Barbecue.
I knew there was
Yeah.
no way I was going to finish all 100 bags in one sitting. But if I can make it through 25 more, then I knew I'd have a solid chance at surviving this crazy diet plan. Until I got this text from Ricky. The next part of Paul's diet was going to require a trip to the grocery store. But in order to set myself up for success,
I've entered what scientists refer to as the crunch dimension.
I knew I had to finish off the rest of these barbecue chips, which fortunately I was able to do. But unfortunately, getting through this day wasn't going to be quite that easy.
I don't even have a word to describe how my mouth feels right now.
With the barbecue chips down, I headed to Walmart to grab the next thing I needed to eat, plus a little something extra.
Man, the roof of my mouth is so shredded right now. I need space. I have a feeling I'm gonna need something a little heavier duty for the picture. If only this worked for the emotional kind too. Yeah, this is gonna taste like sadness.
After some much needed relief, I was clearly ready for more chips. I could feel each chip shredding the roof of my mouth. Had I not gotten that sweet treat, I don't think I'd have a roof left.
On a status update, feels like a car crashed inside of my mouth. There's shards of glass everywhere.
After 10 more delightful minutes, I found myself at the last bag of sour cream and onion chips.
My blood type is now sour cream and onion.
If I could finish off the last 25 bags of chips, I'd be through with the first half of Paul's diet. As for the second half,
All right, well, everyone, I have the rest of the bags right there.
that was either gonna save me or shatter me.
And the reason why I haven't gotten into Paul's next item is because it would have gone terrible with this and would have gone better with...
Classic. Nice.
The second half of Paul's diet was 40 chocolate bars. With how I felt at this point, I knew this was going to be my last ditch effort to finish Paul Mason's daily diet.
I feel like I just burned way too many calories unwrapping those.
But after all the salt I just put in my body over the last day, these Feastables bars were everything I needed.
This chocolate is pretty good. I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
But even though they were a massive relief, I knew I had to get to the chips eventually.
We meet again. Oh man.
At this point, the roof of my mouth and the corners of my lips were in shambles, and I was running out of options. So I thought I'd try some ice cold water, and it did absolutely nothing. And when I realized I was only able to eat one chip at a time, I started to think about throwing in the towel.
I genuinely don't know what to do right now.
But the last thing I wanted to be eating was leftover chips tomorrow. And I also had a sneaking suspicion that these diets were only going to get harder, which meant I was going to need all the stomach space possible. So I knew I needed to take all these chips down tonight. So a few minutes later, I got the bright idea to try a new approach. I've decided to call it chip balls. Well, actually, they're just crushed chips in my fist, but it made it so I could eat them much faster. And to my complete and utter surprise,
My taste buds feel like they're in another dimension right now.
it was working incredibly well. I just wished I would have done it 90 bags ago.
Yeah.
Nothing against Lay's potato chips or anything, but after this, I'm probably never going to eat another bag ever again. I was able to make it to the last 2 bags of chips, but it came at a pretty big cost.
I can't believe I've made it here, but I have 2 bags left. And a chip on my shoulder.
Oh my god.
So close.
With 2 bags of chips and 20 chocolate bars left, I was almost at the finish line.
Oh hey, he's got almonds in them. Good thing I'm getting my healthy fats in.
I shoved back the rest of the chocolate bars like I was trying to set another world record.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what rock bottom tastes like. And it's lightly salted.
And terrible life choices.
I got a little bit of debris, but I'm calling that one done. Oh. I'm gonna need a nap. And a warm bath.
Oh
If only my stomach was as shredded as the roof of my mouth is right now.
Nice.
I'd made it through Paul's mountain of chips and chocolate bars. But the next diet wasn't just about calories. There was a deadline, and failing it came with consequences. The next person on the list was Samantha Mason, who appeared on season 9 of the show My 600 Pound Life. Samantha weighed in at 950
Oh my god, dang. 950
pounds at her peak weight, which required a lot of calories to maintain. But calories weren't the only thing I had to worry about, because little did I know, Ricky was about to take the difficulty of this challenge to a whole new level.
Yo.
Hey, yeah, so I found this person online. So she ate more than 20,000 calories a day, but what she ate was really big.
So Ricky went on to say that he found a thread on Reddit that analyzed Samantha's 140-pound weight gain while she stayed in a hospital, which came out to be roughly 21,333 calories per day. He gave this information to ChatGPT and asked it to analyze all the meals she ate while on the show in order to get the most accurate diet possible, which by itself was going to be incredibly difficult to finish. But what he did next was going to make this challenge a whole different game.
Yeah, once we're off FaceTime, I'll go ahead and text you the first thing.
Alright.
When Ricky's text came in a few minutes later, I wasn't all that worried.
At least it's not 100 bags of chips.
And then he texted me this.
This challenge has just got taken up a few notches.
I have to finish everything on this meal plan today before midnight, or else Ricky's telling me he's gonna add another person's name to the binder. Well, you know what, Ricky? If you're watching this, which I know you are, I am going to finish this meal plan.
I just hope Samantha didn't have any chips on her meal plan.
The first stop was McDonald's. Second stop, Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
I hate you, Ricky.
The first order of business from this massive pile of fast food was 6 jumbo breakfast burritos. And since I hadn't drank enough of this so far, a large Coke. The first bite of the breakfast burrito was surprisingly really good. Maybe today wouldn't be so bad after all.
I'm just so glad this is not a potato chip.
Burrito number 2 went down easy, but the next one called for a little something extra, so I added some salsa. I was probably playing with fire by doing that, but hey, I like to live dangerously.
Shout out to Jack in the Box. Breakfast burrito is actually really good. I think I just got a piece of foil in my mouth.
Maybe it was the sugar or the caffeine. Well, actually probably both, but I was feeling good. Like really good.
Wow, why is that so good? We're back in business, baby! Woo!
Obviously, the sugar rush was coming in at full force. But with time ticking away, I knew I was going to hit my wall eventually. So I decided to throw something else in that would give me a little bit more motivation to keep eating.
I'm gonna issue a little challenge within the challenge. If I'm able to finish everything on this diet plan by midnight tonight, then you gotta subscribe if you're not subscribed already. But if I can't, then you can unsubscribe. Even though that would make me very sad.
With the stakes high and the challenge set, I moved on to the crispy McNuggets. That had some sort of weird sauce, but I was able to finish off the box.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the crispiness of these nuggets brought back some pretty bad flashbacks.
Alright, these McNuggets are a little too crispy.
Even though the roof of my mouth wasn't too happy, I continued on anyways. And I'm glad I did,
Just take a moment of silence for the cookie.
because the sweetness of this cookie was everything I needed.
Yeah, that's good. You guys need that.
And after housing all those cookies, meal 1 was officially complete.
Our cookies are down. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Realistically, I probably should be going to some sort of therapy.
Yep.
I'll go shopping. That's pretty much me right now.
I thought eating 100 bags of chips would be the most physically and emotionally damaging thing I'd ever subject myself to, until I saw Ricky's next text. As someone that's eaten a wide variety of food over my lifetime, there's not a lot of things out there I won't eat. Unless it's this. Yeah, when I got carrot cake on my 2nd birthday, I wasn't too jazzed about it. But I'm assuming that when Ricky saw that Samantha ate one of these on the show, he thought it would be the perfect opportunity to try to sabotage me. But my goal was to stay the world's hungriest man, and I was not going to let him win. So after getting my groceries, it was off to Starbucks for the next item. But after I got it, I caught the carrot cake taunting me in the passenger seat, forcing me to fight back intense feelings of nausea. This was not going to be easy.
I have nothing to say. Okay, not as good as the frappe earlier, but that is tasty.
After a bit of the frappe, it was time for some Ben & Jerry's.
First actual item.
We are back. And I'm back. Let's continue this.
Earlier, but that is tasty.
After a bit of the frappe, it was time for some Ben & Jerry's.
First actual item.
Just so you know, I never had frap. Or what the fuck is... I don't know what frap is.
The first bite of this flavor was a good one. Mainly because it was 90% caramel and like 10% ice cream.
Oh, caramel. Goodness.
Damn.
Probably should have asked them for a napkin.
Finally, it was time to move on to the next items.
Should probably get started on these chocolate bars right here.
2 jumbo-sized chocolate bars.
Cookies and cream bars are classics, but in my opinion, nothing beats a Reese's chocolate bar.
Damn.
Unfortunately, the only thing left at this point was my mortal enemy.
Nothing about this is going to be fun.
Carrot cake.
If I could barely stand to smell this carrot cake, I had no idea how I was going to be able to eat it.
So you just don't like carrots.
I figured maybe if I just start with the frosting, the whole thing would be a lot easier to stomach. But when I took the first actual bite of cake, I realized I was wrong. So very wrong. It was as if pure sadness were turned into an edible flavor, and that's what I had to eat.
Carrot cake is just a vegetable bread pretending to be dessert, and no one can convince me otherwise.
I continued eating the icing to get as much of this down as I could, but with each bite of carrot cake, the task seemed more and more impossible.
Dude, how could anybody eat this? Like, willingly. Everyone, I can't carry on anymore. This is a travesty. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to do this.
Fortunately, Ricky texted me again with the next meal, so I went shopping to distract myself. But even as I looked at these tasty donuts, I just couldn't shake the carrot taste in my mouth. The way I saw it, there was only one thing left to do.
Could have been anything else besides carrot cake. Anything else.
Damn, you must really hate carrot cakes.
Why am I back here?
Can I get 1 caramel frappe, please?
Gotcha. Anything else today?
That's gonna be it.
Gotcha. Pull forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, now I know what you're all thinking. Eric, this is normally the point where you get out your blender.
We're back. Back again. Let's continue this once again.
And you change the consistency of whatever it is you're eating so that it makes it drinkable. I got a lot of comments in the last video where I turned Stan, the 25-pound gummy bear, into a liquid bowl of whatever that was, and a lot of people said it was cheating. So I'm not gonna do that, but I do think I have to do something, because there's no way I'm gonna be eating this carrot cake as it is. This is the moment I got a crazy idea that I just hoped would work.
Oh fuck. Oh.
I was hoping that if I froze the carrot cake, then maybe it would become like a popsicle and I wouldn't taste it as much when I tried to eat it later.
Now I just gotta eat the other stuff.
With midnight fast approaching, I moved on to the donuts.
It does taste like sugar at this point.
As I was starting to get fuller and fuller,
Hot Pocket time.
I knew I had to keep eating.
They're ice cold.
As I ate my uncooked Hot Pockets, I continued to spiral downward.
Oh man, it's bringing back flashbacks. I'll pick that up later.
The crunchiness was hard at first. Ow. And it only continued to get worse. But since it wasn't 100 bags of chips,
If I have to eat another chip in this challenge, I swear I'm gonna.
I was able to finish him off and move on to the next item, which fortunately was soft.
I saved the best for last. You're probably thinking to yourselves, Eric, what are you talking about? Why would that be the best? It's because these nuggets are going to be eaten with some wow sauce.
Fuck, it's hot. Hot. Damn it.
Don't like, and the app
Was in
is gonna work. This fr-
the next item. 100 first, which fortunately was soft.
It's because these.
It's getting hot.
These nuggets are going to be eaten with some wow sauce.
Okay. That ranch.
At this point, I was outrageously full, but all that remained after these nuggets was one last item, which if I couldn't finish, then another person's diet would get added to the binder.
The only thing left is that travesty of a carrot cake, and I have no idea if my plan is gonna work. Well, everyone, it's as frozen as it's gonna get. Oh, dude, it's not even frozen at all. Thinking it was gonna be like a popsicle, all right?
No, it has to be frozen. Be a man, just eat it.
Each bite of this carrot cake was
Yeah,
insufferable.
fucking man.
Oh. Gotta say, everybody, people have things they really don't like, and they have things they really do like. This is not one of the things I really like. It's only one way it's going down.
I held out for as long as I could, but I knew this wasn't going to go down without a little bit of help. I got some good old peanut butter to mask the taste. And guess what? It still tasted awful. But it was helping just enough to make progress. And with only a few minutes left in the day, I just had one last thing to say.
Ricky, I hate you. I never ever want to relive that experience ever again.
Don't jinx it.
Alright, so here's
Yeah,
the
that's
deal.
a-
I ordered the shirt just in case I was able to finish everything on the diet plan today. Just got the wrong size. It's a little snug.
Hey, he said it, not me. He said it. Subscribe.
After conquering Samantha's diet, I was over halfway done with the challenge. Unfortunately for me, though, my stomach was destroyed.
Alright, everybody, well, it's day 4. I'm officially halfway through this challenge. I'm ashamed to admit that I had nightmares last night about carrot cake. Imagine being
Yeah,
a grown
you
man
really
and having
hate
nightmares
carrot
about carrot
cakes, okay?
cake.
With how horrible day 3 went, I was pretty afraid to open the binder. And with all the calories, sugar, and fat I had just put into my body, I felt like I was starting to go crazy. All right, everybody, it's time for a mid-challenge consultation with the fridge. Fridge, being completely honest, what do you think of my current mental state at this moment?
Awful.
Speak louder into the microphone.
Awful.
Yikes. Even though my goal was to gain weight for this challenge, I was massively bloated. So I called in some backup.
What the hell is that?
I feel slimmer already.
I did a little bit of reading to revitalize my mind and shift my focus away from all the food I had just eaten. After that, I had a nice walk with my dog Apollo, and then it was time to check and see what my progress was on my side mission this week. But what I was about to discover was completely unexpected.
Everybody, it's past the halfway point, so now what I'm gonna do is weigh myself to see how much I've gained.
As I was about to weigh in, something in the corner caught my eye. At first, I didn't think much of it when Ricky presented me with the binder, but him choosing to include this specific photo of us had a much deeper meaning than I originally thought. You may not know this about me, but I've had my fair share of weight struggles throughout my life. A few weeks after this photo was taken, I found myself at the doctor's office for what I thought would be a routine checkup, but what actually happened would dramatically change the rest of my teenage years. I stepped on the scale and saw 215 pounds staring back at me, and at first, it was just a number. But when my doctor told me that my weight put me in the obese category for kids my age, it hit me harder than any insult any bully had ever thrown at me. For my entire life up until that point, I just wanted to be seen as someone other than the overweight kid. So with that 215 pound number etched in my mind, I walked out of that doctor's office that day with a mission to lose as much weight as possible. And roughly 11 months later, I had lost about 90 pounds. But even after the weight loss, that number never really left me. It became more than a number. Like subconsciously, I would think if I ever found myself back at that number, I would be that overweight kid again. But now in this very moment, as I saw myself creeping back towards that number, I was starting starting to wonder, what if after all this time it was just a number after all? But this moment of reflection didn't last very long, because not only was the next diet the biggest so far, failing it meant losing the entire challenge.
Alright you guys, it is day 5. I'm actually feeling pretty rejuvenated today, so it's time to get back to the challenge and see who's next.
I didn't know it yet, but what was going to appear on the page after this one was going to turn the next 24 hours of my life into total chaos.
What is in my stomach right now?
Today's a beast. Finish or pay, because if food's left by the end of the day, 2 more names are on their way.
With 2 more names potentially getting added to the binder if I couldn't finish the next meal plan, Ricky was clearly pushing me to my limits. Especially because the next person up on the list was Kenneth Brumley. Kenneth was featured in the documentary Half Ton Dad. At his peak weight, Kenneth weighed in at an estimated 1,035 pounds. Ricky
Holy shit. He's fat.
His challenge was quite the surprise, but he was about to hit me with another one that I wasn't really that prepared for.
So I had trouble finding Kenneth's exact diets. All I was able to find were the typical meals he ate while he was on Half Ton Dad, and the total amount of calories he ate per day, which unfortunately for you is going to be the highest out of anyone else's diet so far. Good luck.
With a little over 12 hours on the clock and a semi-recovered stomach, I knew I had to finish this diet, because I knew if Ricky added 2 more names to the binder, I'd definitely be failing this challenge.
Thank goodness this meal has orange juice. I gotta get my fruit in somehow.
At this point, the taste of the food wasn't as big of a concern, so I combined my favorites together to make a mega breakfast sandwich. But as soon as I got to the legendary McDonald's hash brown, I knew exactly what had to happen next.
I dedicate this next part of the video to all the OGs on the channel because there is an item I used to make all the time in my videos. And all I gotta say is that if you try it, your taste buds will be blown away. Step 1, get your pancake and hash brown like so. Step 2, add a little bit of bacon, just like so, my friends and family. And then step 3, skip the McMuffin, we don't need the extra carbs. Step 4, garnish your hash brown and bacon just like so. And the final step in the process, everybody, is to garnish your creation just like so, my friends and family. And then you have yourselves what I like to call the electrifier. Woo! Who else thinks I should be designing McDonald's menu items? McDonald's, if you're watching this video, I'm always available. All right, always available. Maybe not right now, but in the future at some point.
I finished off the rest of the breakfast items before diving into the dessert, which was 2 massive cinnamon rolls and a little bit of syrup. Meal 1 was pretty easy, but since Ricky was the one sending me the meals, I had no idea what to expect for the rest of the day.
That was pretty spectacular.
Okay, so Ricky just texted me meal 2 and meal 3. Meal 3 is gonna be at a fast food place, and it's a fast food place I really love. So I'm gonna go grocery shopping.
At the store, I grabbed the next few items I needed, including something I really did not want to see.
After this week, it's safe to say I'm officially a Pepsi guy.
This is gonna be going into my, what usually is my protein shaker cup, which I find kind of hilarious and slightly ironic.
As usual, I started on the thing I was least excited to eat. And in this case, it was the Doritos. My mouth quickly paid the price.
You guys gotta comment down below, are you team nacho cheese or are you team Cool Ranch?
I powered through the rest of the chips using my shaker cup as I went. This Coke was the last thing I needed. And even though the roof of my mouth was back to being in shambles, the Doritos were done.
I'll pick that up later.
Next, it was onto the Snickers bars, which I made quick work of. If this all wasn't enough sugar already, what I had next was going to be the icing on the cake.
Pop-Tarts. That is a pure exemplification of American junk food. I don't even know if exemplification is even a word, but I just had to say it.
As I worked my way through these Pop-Tarts, the extreme amount of caffeine and sugar was starting to do crazy things to my body.
Woo!
As I shoved the second to last Pop-Tart back into my mouth and sipped the remaining Coke, what happened next, I still can't fully understand.
Woo! Oh my goodness, I don't know what about that meal was incredible, but your boy is officially locked in. I'm introducing a new segment to the videos, everyone. When I get officially dialed in, my pancreas has been seasoned, my organs, my stomach, everything inside of my body is saying, Eric, please, for the love of God, stop eating. That is when I get locked in.
Target has been identified.
I don't know why I said that like I'm some special ops agent, but just made me feel cool.
Side note, I really have always wanted to get a Burger King crown, so I was really excited when I found out I was supposed to come here today.
it's so locked in.
The first bite of Burger King was delicious, but with this much in front of me,
I need to make some adjustments to my setup I got going on here because it's just not working.
I had a feeling things were going to go downhill fast.
Completely unnecessary, but whatever. I'm doing it anyways.
After applying an unnecessary amount of ranch to this burger, I finished it off and made my way to the nuggets next. My sauce of choice was the legendary sweet and sour. It was good, but flavor fatigue was starting to hit.
And when that happens, it's never a good thing.
What you guys gotta do when you're in moments like this where flavor fatigue is hitting, you gotta go bam, and then boom, and then back to bam.
Sweet and sour and ranch, obviously a goated combo. After spending the next few minutes eating those, it was finally time for the fries.
Exercise. I thought you meant extra fries. If you all made it up into this point of the video, I just want you all to drop a French fry emoji down below.
At this point, I was starting to get very full, but there were 2 iconic items still left for me to finish.
2 orders of fries are down. I feel like I just ran a marathon. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a work of art. The legendary Hershey's pie from Burger King.
The Burger King meal was finished, and with that much food in me, the only thing I could think of doing next was...
Afternoon snack and dinner. Okay.
Time to go grocery shopping. Again.
You'd think Walmart would be concerned about the amount of times I'd visited this week.
I am disgusted with myself right now.
Yet here I was again, and I was being stalked.
Too soon.
I don't think I've ever had a zebra cake before. It tastes like sugar at this point.
Right about now is when I started feeling all those calories catch up with me.
Big time here. Oh.
Even these smaller items were becoming incredibly hard to finish.
I literally feel like this guy right here. Like this is me right now.
I finished off the M&Ms, but the next item for sure wasn't going to be good for my digestive system.
The peanut M&Ms are down. This last item I feel like can really not make things very good right now. But you know what? I like to live dangerously, everybody. We have a cheesecake right here.
I gotta say, I was pretty surprised when I took my first bite of this cheesecake.
That is not bad for a Walmart cheesecake.
But things quickly took a turn for the worse.
Oh, man.
Each bite of cheesecake felt like a literal brick was going into my stomach.
But with midnight fast approaching and more food after this,
I was almost at the finish line. I just had to keep pushing.
Cheesecake is down. I wish I could say that today is over, but unfortunately it is not.
It's never.
Can't believe I made it through almost 5 days of this.
Dr. Ripper? Oh, fuck.
That will be me tomorrow morning.
I genuinely could not believe that I'd made it to this meal, but the end of the day was finally in sight.
It's actually kind of nice.
Besides, what harm could yet another food item that scratches the roof of my mouth do? Yeah, it turns out the bacon on this pizza was a little bit too crispy. At this point, I wasn't sure if my mouth would ever fully recover from this challenge.
The bacon is crunchy and the roof of my mouth is still raw.
Shortly after this, I realized I'd forgotten to bring an item to the table.
This is the last thing my body needs right now is a bean and cheese burrito. I'm just telling y'all right now.
After happily eating the first burrito, and eventually the second, it was time for a little taste test.
It's time for an official Pizza Hut ranch taste test. Oh, no.
At this point, I knew the only way I was going to be able to finish these breadsticks was with my own sauce.
I gotta say right now, I'm an absolute liar for wearing this shirt. Speaking of this amazing shirt, you can grab yourself one. I also have a bunch of Eric the Electric merch down below in the description as well if you'd like to take a peek at some foodie merch. I'm sure you'd all enjoy it.
Anyways, with the breadsticks eaten, I continued onward.
I can't believe I have to do this. This meal didn't just call for one meat lover's pizza. It called for 1.5. Oh my goodness. I could not get any worse than this.
Actually, it could, and it was going to.
Oh, my stomach isn't there anymore. It's just pain. Oh.
But I was able to finish the other half of this pizza. Unfortunately, though, I wasn't quite done yet.
I'm so full right now.
Because only a few minutes after I finished this meal, Ricky texted me Kenneth's midnight snack. With time slowly ticking away, I headed back to Walmart for what felt like the 100th time.
I feel like my stomach is gonna file a restraining order against me if I keep eating like this.
But after grabbing my items, I realized that my fullness wasn't going to be the only issue here.
Just my luck.
And then on the way home, I had a mild panic attack. And for good reason.
No.
I could not believe I forgot my wallet, but I headed back to Walmart anyway, hoping it would be there. And fortunately, it was. Pro tip to all the aspiring YouTubers out there, it's never a good idea to use your wallet as a makeshift tripod. With less than an hour left until midnight, I could tell that this final meal was going to come down to the wire.
Damn, look at us.
After giving my stomach as much rest as possible, it was finally go time.
There's like 10 minutes.
So full right now.
With 10 minutes left, I got into the Ben & Jerry's, which is where I faced my first enemy.
Great freeze. Oh.
Normally in this situation, I'd go heat up some water to fight the brain freeze, but I knew I just didn't have the time. So room temp water was gonna have to do.
I mean, a strawberry cheesecake. At least I'm getting some fruit in it today.
A few more spoonfuls later, I was already halfway through the pint. And then finally, I was able to finish it off. With a little over 6 minutes left, I had 2 PB&J sandwiches to finish.
Hate you, Ricky. So much.
At this point, everything was on the line, but all that stood in the way between me and victory was one last PB&J sandwich. No words can describe how full I was at this point.
Oh my gosh, I can't. Oh.
Stop it.
What is in my stomach right now?
The only thing I could do at this point was move around to try and help digest some of the food.
My body's saying yes, but my mind is saying no.
With less than 2 minutes left and only a quarter of the sandwich remaining,
A little over a minute left.
I knew this was going to be close. I stuffed the second to last bite into my mouth and checked the clock once again.
Hey, it doesn't die.
Mouth is clean. I'm gonna need to lay down for a little bit.
After one of the most ridiculous days of eating I've ever had, I sent Ricky this text. And what he ended up sending me back was the last thing I expected. I didn't realize it at first, but he was right. This did kind of feel like one of our dumb kid adventures.
What up, guys? I'm Eric Lampkin. Let's go, Ricky.
You know, we should probably be watching where we're going. Eric, speed up.
Only this time, the stakes were real. One final diet was all that stood between me and the end of this challenge. But with 2 days to finish it, I felt confident I was going to end this challenge with a W. Little did I know, I was going to need every second I could get.
Oh, we've made it to day 6. Since Ricky said there's 5 diets, that means I have 1 more to go. Oh, I'm gonna go find out who's up next, unfortunately. The next name in the binder, Donna Simpson, someone who actually set out to become the world's heaviest woman. Donna's meal plan was so outrageous that it not only made national headlines, it made all the meal plans I'd eaten this week look like appetizers. And unfortunately for me, I had
5 pounds of mashed potatoes? God damn.
no idea what I was walking into.
He said these were gonna be more difficult than the world's heaviest man's diet. All right, well, I guess it's time for some mashed potatoes. What do you think about boxed mashed potatoes?
I really like that.
What if you want to do the whole box? Microwave on high.
Dude, that's gonna make a ton of potatoes.
Really? Hey, at least this is like the softest meal of the week.
Not only were the potatoes super soft,
Actually, mashed potatoes, that's crazy.
they were the perfect food to start the day off with.
I feel like this is missing something.
But since they were just plain mashed potatoes, I needed something to bump up the flavor.
Cheese?
So I decorated them with some fat-free cheese.
This feels like the first challenge of the week that the roof of my mouth actually approves of.
But even though this meal felt like a win, the victory was short-lived because of what showed up on my lock screen next.
Looks like I gotta go shopping again.
I headed back to the store to buy some bread. 5 loaves was a lot, but it was still pretty manageable. Little did I know, this was only the beginning.
You know, a lot of people have watched these videos I make for many years now, and they always ask me, Eric, do you ever think you'll give up carbs? And I always say the same thing, over my bread body.
After my incredibly hilarious joke, I got back to work on the mashed potatoes.
I'll never look at mashed potatoes the same after this.
I was able to finish them off,
Well, the mashed potatoes are done.
but I still had bread left to eat.
Mo butter, mo better.
After eating the bread and butter like a civilized human being, I decided to take a little bit of the outside out and make my own butter pocket. From the way I saw it, I was so close to finishing this challenge.
3 loaves remaining.
But I was in for quite the surprise.
No more butter. Well, at least not that kind of butter.
I searched the pantry for something to help me take down the rest of this bread.
My mouth is so annihilated.
Even the top of the sourdough bread was bothering my mouth. Little did I know, that was about to become the least of my worries.
Oh man, this bread is filling me up.
I hoped that making some classic PB&Js was going to get me to the finish line, but I was starting to hit the wall, which meant I had to think of something fast.
I dedicate this entire meal to all the gluten-free people watching, because I wish I were you right now.
I don't like to do it because honestly it's pretty disgusting, but dunking bread in water softens it up and makes it way easier to eat.
Final loaf.
A few minutes later, I finally conquered the bread boss and made it to the end, or so I thought.
If they didn't say it had to be pretty, it just had to be done. I always come out on top. Always.
You're gonna jinx it.
You've got to be kidding.
An entire turkey, 5 pounds of stuffing? Oh my god. You're gonna die.
At this point, I could barely think straight anymore, but it was off to the grocery store once again. I had absolutely no idea, but sheer ridiculousness was about to unfold in front of me. I said the word dude in the span of 15 minutes more times than I'd ever said in my entire life. Not only was this an expensive grocery trip, but I now had an entire feast to prepare. So I got to work and spent the next few hours cooking. I decided that since I had one more day left to complete the challenge, I'd be going all in tomorrow. But before I did, there was one big question on my mind.
Honestly, I feel like I'm
God,
full
this
enough to
stomach.
be at the weight goal, so it's time to see if I'm actually at the weight goal.
213. I hadn't seen that number in years. And tomorrow, I had a feeling it wasn't just my stomach that was going to be tested.
I feel like I just cooked enough food to feed an entire football team.
Out of thousands of food challenges, this was the biggest meal I'd ever been in front of. Looking over the massive spread of food across the table, I decided to tackle the thing I disliked the most. The stuffing. I made quick work of the stuffing and started diving into the ham. But only a few short minutes later, I fell back into a food coma once again.
My stomach isn't there anymore. It's just pain.
After a break, I was back at it a few hours later. The entire challenge had come to this, and I was determined to finish this meal by any means necessary. But each bite was becoming harder and harder to eat. As I continued on, one big question started to form in my mind.
Oh, this is miserable.
How could anyone eat this much food in a day?
Ugh.
So when I came back to the table an hour later, I found out the answer to that question for myself. And to say I was shocked would be an understatement.
Simpson high-calorie diet.
When I first saw the title of the article, I was pretty skeptical.
30,000 calorie Christmas feast.
And then I saw this.
2 hours sitting? Yeah, and I'm the Queen of England.
Either Donna was the best professional eater in the world, or that article mistakenly put 2 hours instead of 2 months. Either way, I felt defeated. I'd made it to the final boss in the craziest challenge I'd ever attempted. But ultimately, Ricky was right. This really was the challenge I couldn't finish. But in my eyes, there was just one last thing I had to do.
Weighing time, baby.
I started this week at 184 pounds, and as I stepped on the scale, I weighed in at 218 pounds, the heaviest I've been in my entire life. When I first started this challenge, I expected I'd feel those old thoughts of insecurity again if I came close to even hitting this number. But in this moment, I felt okay. And in a weird way, being over that 215 number didn't bring up those old feelings that I expected it to. What I gained this week wasn't just weight, it was perspective. And I wasn't the only one who changed. Donna ended up losing over 100 pounds and decided to prioritize being a mom. And Kenneth also lost over 100 pounds after appearing on Halftime Dad. Samantha Mason lost over 320 pounds and continues to share aspects of her weight loss journey on social media. Paul, he lost over 650 pounds and had one of the most dramatic weight loss transformations ever recorded. And Barry Austin, the man once called Britain's heaviest, eventually lost over 300 pounds. They lost weight, but they found something greater: power over their own stories. And while I may not have finished the challenge, ultimately I gained something much more meaningful: peace with who I've become. And if 15-year-old me could see where I am now, I think he'd be pretty proud. As for Ricky, well, it turns out there was still one more memory left for us to make.
Alright, man, how'd it go?
I couldn't finish it, but I did hit the weight goal though.
Oh, man, no, you technically failed. I'm still impressed.
At least I've got food covered for the next few days. Well, bro, there's one last thing I think we should do before you leave.
Hey. Alright. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and help me reach 1,000 subscribers. See you all.